Where is John? We've got to get this show going.
Done! I'm all ready to go.
Why do you dress like that?
Well, isn't it Superhero Day?
Not that kind of superhero, like the ones watching us today. Keep watching. Hi, it's Donna Robertson.
And John Nossel.
And we're here with Fabric Café to show you some awesome quilts that are made just for the superheroes in your life. And I have to tell you that whenever John, from the time that he was probably, I don't know, 16 or 17, and he actually knew how to do computer stuff before they invented computers, I think. But he did something else too, and that is that he was on the volunteer fire department in our little tiny town of Big Sandy, Texas. And I still remember getting to go on a trip to Washington, D.C.
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
And we went to Washington, D.C., and it was a great honor because he had gotten an award for a congressional medal for recognition for volunteering for so many things in our community. And one of those things was the volunteer firemen.
It was. It was a lot of fun. I mean, you know, here I was, you know, an older teenager getting into my early 20s, and, you know, we're all adrenaline junkies at that time in our lives. And it was really fun to be able to, you know, not only get to ride in the trucks with the sirens and the lights and all of that, but it was also very cool because I was able to help my neighbors, help my friends. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I can't tell you how many runs that I went on that I got there and I knew the people that I was there to serve and help. And, you know, being able to do some of that is just a big highlight in a lot of my memories. And I mean, there's, you know, some pretty superhero-y kind of things that we got to do when we were as firefighters, where we were running into that burning building or helping somebody at a wreck, or even, you know, spending time working in the emergency rooms, working on my EMT license and such.
That was great. So there are a lot of superheroes in this world, and my son is one of them. But let's look at the quilt. Okay, this particular quilt is called Pretty Simple, and Pretty Simple is going to show off the novelty prints great, because you can put the novelty prints in the large blocks and then sash it, and you've got a good looking quilt. So we'll look at this fabric, and this one is called Fireproof, and it is awesome. We've got these great fire trucks, and we all know stories about the superheroes in our life and our world that have rescued so many people, and some have even given their lives. And so we really want to honor them. Here's some old-fashioned type fire trucks as well, and that will be in the number 2 spot. So your focus print is going to go where the snowmen are. The light color, the number 2 fabric, will go here, and then we're going to sash it with the red. And this one is 8022144 Fireproof. Pretty Simple is the pattern, and Quilt Favorites is the book that pattern goes in. Now, John, you take it away.
That's a really great one. So our next one we've got coming up is Town Square, and this is another really nice one because we do have that single focus fabric in that, and then we've got this really cool kind of you know, stacked look and feel in this with the second and third fabrics in this. So let's put that up on the table and take a look at this one. And you know, I think one of our big unsung heroes out there are really our nurses. I mean, because they're on the front lines every single day, and I think this is a really great one to really show kind of support for them. So if you've got a nurse, I mean, your oldest sister was a nurse for years and even retired from that. And I mean, the things that she was doing is just amazing, hearing some of her stories. And, you know, she was doing, you know, neonatal intensive care and different things like that. And just to be able to, you know, make a quilt for somebody and give that to them as, you know, as a retirement gift or something like that would be really cool. So anyway, let's look at this fabric. So we've got this great, you know, with the medical insignia there, and we've got a little bitty word underneath that for nurse. And that's going to look great up here in our number 1 position. And then our number 2 is this great little white and gray little symbol there. That's going to be great in our number 2 position, and then this great little almost grunge turquoise that we've got in that to really get that to pop off of that. So it's going to have that really nice dark in here, and it's going to pop out really nicely on this.
And you know what's really neat about this one? It kind of reminds me of Michael. Do you remember Michael was my next door neighbor, and he was a nurse.
Yeah.
He was a flight nurse. And this is a little bit more masculine in look. So if you know a male nurse that might enjoy something
Definitely.
like this.
I actually know one that works over in the Longview area, and that's a great idea. So this one is number is 8022145. It is called Healthcare Heroes, and it's using that town square pattern, and that can also be found in our Easy Peasy book.
Very good. Well, I've talked about the male nurses. Now let me show you a female nurse. This one is the Garden Path pattern, and we're going to make it with some different fabric that will really, it's a fun fabric, and I know there's lots of fun as well as some sad stories for the nurses, what they go through each and every day, but they are truly superheroes. So let's put this up here, and I've got pieces and parts for you so you can see how awesome this fabric is. Let me have the pieces and parts, John. Now this pattern is in the book Fast and Fun, and Fast and Fun is, it's a great quilt to show off your focus fabric and still get the complementary colors with that focus fabric. And we do the same basic strip assembly that I like to do whenever I write my patterns. So the very first thing that you're going to do is you're going to cut your focus fabric. And look at these awesome nurses. Now these have been a part of our lineup of fabric off and on for a while, but we want you to see how fun they are, and they have such personalities. You probably know someone that has the personalities of one of these particular nurses. I'm going to scoot this up just a tad, and we'll put this nurse right down here. So that's how simple it is to do one of the first ones. Let me have that card, John. And we'll put it over here so that you can see how we make our strip assembly. Now this is the strip assembly that's going to be used here and here. So when we make the long strip assembly, we then we cut our units off of the side, and the pattern will tell you exactly how many to cut. And then you place this here and here. And right in the middle of those two, we're going to put a solid strip, like so.
And I think the whole strips method on all of our quilt designs are really great because it does look more complicated, but at the same time makes it very easy for even a beginner quilter to even get in and make some of these.
Absolutely. And now I've got a couple of, I have a finished block so we can finish out this. And if you'll hand me the cropping tool, John, we'll crop this out. I think you can see it pretty well, but being able to see how adorable this particular quilt is going to be whenever you take out some of that pink that you can see. Isn't that great?
That is great.
I think it's going to be good. All right, so let's look at the fabric up close so that you can see how that is. So you have the nurses as your number 1 fabric. You then have your number 2 fabric is compared with the 3, and the number 2 goes in that lighter spot with the number 3 in the darkest spot. This is called Noble Nurses, 8022146. Garden Path is your pattern, and that book is Fast and Fun. So you can get a free pattern with an individual kit, or buy 3 kits and you can get a book free.
So this next one we've got is called Checkmate, and I love this pattern. It's a great one for large prints like this. This is one that I generally will suggest for people who's using an animal print or something like that. And this is also a very quick and easy design because we've got this fabric strip here is literally with the fabric. So you've got that nice big block there to show off. And then you've got a real nice basic 4 patch in that. So let's put that up on the table and show you another one of our great heroes that we have out there. We can't forget about our law enforcement officers that are out there, and seeing them all the time. They're literally in the front line regularly. So this one's a great one because we've got all of the words on here. I know it's you really like your word fabrics and all of that. So we've got trustworthy and integrity and finest and patrol, and we've got motorcycles and cars and dogs and flags and SWAT and all of these great things on here. So maybe you've got that young man in your life or child and that really just loves police, this would be a great one to inspire them to maybe look at going into law enforcement later in their lives. But this is a great one that's going to go up here in that big block here so that we can really show off all of those. And then our number 2 fabric is this great blue stars. That's going to be in our 4-patch here, and then we've got that nice red that's going to go in there. So we might also have kind of a nice red, white, and blue theme going on in this one.
Absolutely.
So this is a really, really fun law enforcement kit that we have on that one. So this one is called Serve and Protect, and it's 8022147. And we're using that Checkmate pattern on that. So that's a great kit there.
Okay, well, we got some more pieces and parts coming up, so let me show you this one. This one is called Simply Strips, and Simply Strips is one of those quilts that it's one block. It's just one block made over and over again, and we use strip piecing, so it makes it even more simple to do. So this one's called Simply Strips. So let's put that up here on the table, and we have more pieces and parts. So this one we're going to be making. The pattern is in the book Quilt Favorites. And again, we're going to make this strip piecing, and then we're going to cut units off. But also, this is actually referred to as a block because that's all you need to do. When you make a strip assembly and cut a unit, you're going to sew it with something else to end up with a block when you're making our patterns. But in this case, once you've sewn those strips together and you make the first cut, it's not a unit, it's a block because it's finished.
Exactly.
How's that for cool?
Very cool.
All right, so let's look at that. So here's our strip assembly, super, super, super simple. We have a strip assembly like so.
This is such a bright, fun fabric.
Oh, I forgot to tell you who this is for.
Oh.
School teachers.
Oh,
wow,
those
they are
great.
truly, they have my heart. And I still remember that when you went to first grade, you got my first grade teacher for his first grade teacher. And she just loved John, and she was especially partial because he was the first one that she had ever had the mother and then the child. So that was kind of fun.
That's really cool.
Do you
Mrs.
remember?
Branch.
No, it was actually Miss Branch.
Miss Branch,
Miss
okay.
Branch, yes. So if Miss Branch is out there, we love you, still do. You were awesome. So we've got our strip piecing like this, and then we cut those blocks off of the side. So see how that's just cut off?
That's perfect.
And again, it's not a unit right now, it's actually a block. So this block is going to be placed on your quilt like so. And if you want to take that, and you just make your rows, sewing these one right after another. Now when you get to the next row, your blocks are going to be turned. And so they will go, rather than this with the yellow here, it's going to be over here. You just simply turn your block. And then this one is going to go here. How about that cropper, John? And what's fun about this is if you'll look, you'll see that there really are not a whole lot of, seams that you have to worry about. There's a lot of seams in the quilt, but you really did that with the strip piecing. And then when you're sewing these together, one of those seams is going to fall right here. You do have a matcher here, but again, it's super simple and easy to do. Okay, let's look at this particular fabric. And we have fabric number 1 is this great rainbow. And I remember too, I have to keep remembering things from my first grade teacher. She had a reading corner, and she had little blankets over there, and we could go over there if we got all of our other work done. We got to go over and pick a book and sit there and look at the books and cover up with one of the quilts if we were a little chilly.
Oh, that's great.
I was always a super achiever. I wanted to hurry up and get through so I could go read because I already knew how to read when I went to school. My mother taught me. Love my mother. Okay, so this was the number 1 fabric, and that's going to go in your largest position of the quilt. You compare these two, and you get the lightest for your number 2 fabric and your darkest for the number 3. When you're making one of our quilts, that's the easiest formula you're ever going to find for picking out your fabrics. And the number is 8022148, Teaching the Future. Ooh, that's a good title.
That's a great title.
Simply Strips is the pattern. It's in the book Quilt Favorites.
And I think the colors are fun on this too. You know, while we were getting ready for the show today, you know, Hannah even mentioned this even like matches that, you know, box of 6 crayons. So we got all those colors in there. It's really cool.
Oh, yeah. I finally remember Crayolas when I was going to school.
So our next one pattern that we have up is called Dash, and this is another really fun one. It looks complicated with all the little boxes and everything in it, but it really goes together again using all that strip method. And this is also a nice one because it would allow us to have 2 focus fabrics in that. So let's put that one up on the table and look at one of our last superheroes that we're focusing on today, and that's all of our armed forces. You know, we've got some great service people out there that are literally putting themselves on the front line, even more so than our law enforcement, our firefighters, our nurses, and all of that. And, you know, I can't appreciate them enough for that sacrifice that they're doing. I mean, we've got, you know, Felicia, your granddaughter, my niece, that's in the Air Force, and Fran's husband, Mel, was in the Marines, and your sister Judy, her son, was in the Army. So, you know, we're kind of covering all of our bases there. So this is a really great one that could work for any one of the armed forces. So this is a great one. So our focus fabric on this is this great red theme with the flags on here. That's going to be here in our red area on the kit. So we're going to have a lot of those little flags and everything all over this. And then our number 2 fabric is this great tan.
Ooh, I love
that's going to be in that background. And, you know, our 3 fabrics, always our lightest, is going to be in that background to get everything to really pop off of that quilt. So it's really exciting to see that. And then our number 3 matches our number 1 fabric, but going to the blue side of things. And that's going to be in here and out here on our border and really get this to pop nicely whenever it gets all assembled and put together.
This is a great double focus quilt.
It is. And I love that with some of our designs. We do be able to have those 2 focus fabrics in them. So when you can look at that whenever you're picking out your pattern to go with some fabric, you might be pulling out of your stash or something like that.
Right.
So this one is called Patriotic. Its number is 8022149. It's using the dash pattern, and that dash pattern can also be found in our Easy Peasy book.
Well, this has been a lot of fun to think about our superheroes in the world. You probably have some other superheroes as well. We do have a great book bundle special if you're interested in that. Every book has 8 patterns. Every pattern is written in 3 sizes, and all types of superhero fabric can be shown off in these books. It's available at one price, and it's free shipping for the book bundle, and you can find that on fabriccafe.com.
That's great.
So if you enjoyed this, we hope that you will click on the subscribe button.
And click the little bell so that you get notified whenever we've got a new video coming out.
Thanks for joining us. It's Donna Robertson.
And John Nossel. Have a great day.